Hello and welcome to the final round of the Pokemon Regional Championship Cologne, the biggest regional championship in Europe so far. I'm really excited about this last round. My name is David Hofmann. I'm joined by Lydia Hombach.
Hello, everybody. This is the last round of Swiss, and we have a win-it-in for you. How could it be different?
Yeah,
Who do we have, David?
we are featuring Joshua, I'm not entirely sure, Huggard against Nicholas Pearce. So the win and in matchups, all very interesting, but the problem is we can't use the very high tables because,
Yeah.
well, they might tie and it's too much of a hassle, so we only need the people who really want to win this game, and these two definitely want to win. So on the one side we have Joshua, who is not, he doesn't have any results on Limitless. I'm not entirely sure. I think he's from the United Kingdom, and he's playing Pikachu Zekroms, a deck we didn't put on stream at the very beginning. We had it round 2, but it didn't really do much. So we are going to see another Pikachu Zekrom. Not as much Welder as at the beginning.
So we just had
rounds,
Pikazak, and it won.
yeah, so let's see how Pikachu Zekrom is able to perform. On the other side, we have Nicholas Pearce and
Yeah,
what's
we
he
have
playing?
Nicholas Pearce, and he is playing a Mewtwo Mew deck. We have seen that quite often, but we haven't really seen the Pikazak Mewtwo Mew matchup. It is a very close matchup, so I'm hoping for a very interesting win in here.
Yeah, so we had talked Radcliffe earlier, who was kind of playing a very new version of this deck, but I think Nicholas's list is just quite standard. You
It's
play a bunch of
very
Pokemon, then
standard,
your Welder
yes.
and your energy cards. So here we can see they are currently setting up, putting down their price cards. They don't look too relevant. So for Nicholas, of course, Giant Hearth, something you really want in your deck. I think he plays 3, so he has access to 1. Such an amazingly strong card in combination with the Welder card. But as you can see here, he has energy and Welder already in hand. He doesn't need anything else. Going into 3 Fire Energy cards. Very interesting to see, because usually you, of course, you want to have like you want to draw into ball cards, communication, something like this to get your board down, of course, with the Mutant Mew build of the Welder engine. The first Pokemon that you want the discard pile to hit is Solgaleo GX. A lot of people play 2 of them. Niklas is actually opting to only go for 1. So for this you try to get a Cherish Ball and then a Mysterious Treasure to discard it. Mysterious Treasure, very good card in this deck since it can search Psychic Pokemon. This includes, of course, beside the Mutant Mew GX, it's also Jirachi GX and the Latios GX. And Latios GX can put in a lot of work in this matchup since the attack prevents damage from Tag Team in the next turn. And of course, if you play a Pikachu Zekrom Tag Team, there are a bunch of Tag Team Pokemon and not a lot of ways to play around it. So let's see how this is coming down. And his first turn is already looking pretty nice.
Yeah, indeed, he was able to discard a lot of Pokemon with his Charge. This is definitely what you want to do. You want to get your Pokemon into the discard pile as early as possible, so you have as many different attacks available to you pretty early in the game.
Yeah, so his deck list seems not too off. He has a lot of attacking options, of course, like you would expect from a Mewtwo and Mew deck. I'm not entirely sure what hit the discard pile. There were definitely a few Pokemon GX in there. The only thing we can be sure about is the Latias GX, but that's also a very crucial card in the matchup. He had to well, he didn't have to, but he did discard a Psychic Energy off that Acrobike because he wanted to keep the Custom Catcher. Custom Catcher, very important card, allows you to play around a lot of annoying stuff. But of course, if you discard the Psychic Energy, that prevents you to lose Latios GX attack, which can outplay the Pikachu Zekrom. So but before we talk about Niklas' deck too much, let's see what Yoshi's first turn is actually going to be. He started the Tapu Koko Prison Star. Not a Pokemon you really want to see in the active spot at the beginning.
Yeah, but also it's not too bad because Yoshio was able to discard two lightning energies with the electromagnetic radar, which he's still playing. So getting rid of the Tapu Koko Prism Star early isn't too bad, because you need the Tapu Koko or the stadium anyways in order to get your turn 2 full blitz. So it's actually not a bad start at all.
Yeah, so Tapu Koko, of course, if it's, I'm not entirely sure. The ability I think can we only use if it's on the bench. I didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can attach 2 energy to your bench Pokemon.
Yeah,
yeah,
you can
so
put it into the lost
it has to
zone
be on
and
the bench, but it can also only attach to the bench. So if you start with it, you need to get it out of the active. But then also the Pokemon you promote can't be the Pokemon you want to attack with. But ideally, you can retreat it for a Jirachi, and then use Stellar Wish. Maybe you don't get a turn 1 full blitz, but you can already set up for the late game. Or if you run really hard, if there is a switch somewhere in between, you can get an escape board. But yeah, Joshua does have a.
he has the
oh,
switch.
he does
has
have
the
a
Stellar
switch,
Wish.
and he has
He
Dedenne.
also has Dedenne, and I think he also has a Pikachu Zagram tag team, because that's what he got from the electromagnetic
Well, he used the
radar.
communication to
Oh, yeah,
shuffle
true,
it
true,
back.
true,
This
yeah.
is where the Jirachi came from, so he can just discard his hand. Of course, there are a lot more outs for the Pikachu Zekrom GX compared to the Jirachi. So, and of course, Stellar Wish is too good of an ability to pass here if he has the chance. And here we also see the Stellar Wish going down. He already played a supporter card. I don't see an energy in his hand, so it looks like he'll probably not get the turn 1, even though he got the stadium card. But wait, he got the stadium and an energy switch.
Yes.
But
He
he
did.
didn't have, I don't think he has an escape board. Otherwise, he could have even been able to take, to attack with it this turn, which would have been pretty cool,
Crazy,
yeah.
yeah.
But
Well,
didn't
we
look
see
like.
him play another electromagnetic radar, I think.
Wait, he has a switch, right? He can
Yeah,
attack. Oh, this is oh boy, so he can use Tapu Koko, then attach an energy to Pikachu Zekrom, another bench Pokemon, energy switch, the stadium. His only hand card is Faulkner, which is completely fine.
So we're
And
seeing a turn 1 full blitz.
That's such a weird hand he drew into. Okay, before I get too excited, let's confirm that this is actually his hand.
Let's see what's happening. We will see it in a
alright,
minute.
so. Oh, I think he has it. It's like
Oh, you're so
this
excited,
is
Ed.
this is too good to be true.
Okay, he's preparing the energy in the discard pile. Okay, Tapu Koko Prism Star's
Because
ability.
I was like, well, you start the Coco, like the first hand was just like Dedenne into
no.
whatever.
Like, I
but
had a very serious talk with Philip
oh
the day
boy.
before yesterday, and he was explaining me Pikachu Zekrom. And believe me, it took like half an hour, and he was telling me like, you want to have the Tapu Koko, you want to have the Thunder Mountain as early as possible. So
Yeah, but
starting
like I
Tapu
mean,
Koko is actually good.
yeah, but like Dedenning into the Tapu Koko into the Prism Stadium. And
Yeah, that's pretty lucky.
it's and like he drew the perfect hand. He drew
That's
every single card he
actually
needed,
insane.
plus a supporter card on top of that. All right, so but Nick went first. He got a Mewtwo with a bunch of energy cards. Let's see what his turn is going to be like. He does have he actually has a psychic energy card in his hand, so he can attack with Latios GX.
Yeah, he also has the Viridian Forest, which is still a good out for the psychic energy. So
Yeah, that's his hand is not bad. It's not bad at
we
all.
see Viridian Forest.
He can even use the Viridian Forest to get another. Oh yeah, he gets the Macago in the discard pile. Perfect synergy. Get another fire energy card. The Viridian Forest is such a weird card to play in a Welder deck, but of course you also play Psychic Energy in this build. I don't think he plays. Yeah, he only plays
three.
Psychic as a color, unlike Torrid, who also plays Water Energy. Yeah, so he can Welder. He might actually Welder into the active, and with the Macago, can we get the Macago up? Just want to double check the attacks on that, because I'm pretty sure he's able to take a knockout here, Lava Flow. Yeah, so he can take a knockout on the Pikachu Zekrom this turn if he wants to, and he also has a double catcher in his hand. So if he really wants to go for it, but then also this will just leave his
So just
Mewtwo just to be knocked out.
just to confirm, Makago GX attack Lava Flow does 50 plus 50 for each fire energy you discard.
Yes. And there are 5 fire energy cards, so all of them can be discarded for 300 damage. He can still leave one. And yeah, he can just leave one. And we see him attaching a psych energy to the Dana, which is like
It's more
not
of an
really
retreat
something you want
option.
to do. Yeah, you can promote it and then retreat. And he goes for double catcher onto the Raichu.
It makes sense because it's powered up, and he has just kicked the Thunder Mountain. So he's forcing Joshua to attach another energy to the Pikachu Zekrom, and forcing him also to find another basic Pokemon to actually attach the energies to. So that's a pretty smart play of Nick.
Yeah, but then also he needs to attach. Now he needs to discard all fire energy. Doesn't really make a big difference since, well, let's be honest, this Mewtwo will get knocked out by Pikachu and Zekrom. And then Joshua will be able to attach 3 lightning energy cards from his deck to one of his Pokemon. And well, since Nick knows, well, my opponent only has 1 hand card. If I'm lucky, doesn't have an energy. But well, it's a Faulkner, so he can actually use Stellar Whoosh, then see if he gets an escape board. If he doesn't get an escape board, grab escape board with Faulkner. If he does get an escape board, he can grab whatever he wants with that Faulkner. And the energy is in his hand already. So if you, yeah, also he can use Faulkner to get a Energy X via, how's it called again?
Did it
Cherish
charge?
Ball? No,
Oh,
so if he uses,
yeah.
if he uses Faulkner, he can grab a Cherish.
That's true.
Cherish Ball?
Cherish Ball, that's what it's called.
Well, he doesn't play Cherish
Yeah,
Ball.
because he has electromagnetic
yeah,
radar.
but the radar is, he doesn't have enough hand cards for the radar, I think. Well, so he would need to discard some stuff.
I mean, he can sell out Wish for something,
let's see.
and then discard it.
Yeah. So, Viridian Forest for the Lightning Energy card. And then, let's see what he actually... Well, he does have a Cynthia in his hand now.
That might be the better play, actually.
So
Because he needs to find a basic Pokemon.
Well, if he can't retreat now, it's like... And he could even
I
attach
mean, he needs
to
to find a
active.
lot. He needs to find
he
an
could also
escape
attach
board.
to the active, because then he only needs a double custom catcher. There's a Dedenne in play, so he can use a full, like a 6 energy GX attack, can take a knockout on a bench Dedenne. So if Nick benches anything other than a Mewtwo Mew, he can just take the knockout there. And even if he doesn't, the worst thing, Nicholas can... Well, he does still have his GX attack open, but I don't really think there's any way to knock out a Pikachu Zekrom from a board without any energy in play. But let's see. So here we see a Stadium Nav, a really cool card actually. I think it's the first item that can just like search your deck for a Stadium card.
Yeah, that's very nice. 2 tails, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, if you flip 2 tails, then there's nothing you can do about it. But especially in this deck, very good, because you really do need that...
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, Thunder Mountain, Thunder Mountain Prism Star to get your energy, well, not to get an energy card, but to make your attack only cost 2 energy. It's a weird way of saying that. We see 2 electromagnetic radar being played, which...
2 electro power.
Oh yeah, I mean 2 electro power, which usually means there is some kind of
There's something
desperation
going on.
action going here. So he needed to make space in his hand to play the single custom catcher. And this actually gave him another Raichu.
Which is not too bad, because now he has something to actually attach the energy to from the Full Blitz.
Yeah, so I still think it would have been fine to just attach to itself, but the Raichu is a very strong Pokemon, especially if your opponent plays the deck with that. Usually doesn't play too many switching cards. I think he plays 2 switch in his deck. So if you can use a paralyzation and play a little bit around, this can be a very strong Pokemon. Also, it has great synergy with Zero Aura GX, since it gives you free retreat if you have a lightning energy attached. So you can just have something with lightning, like you can retreat the Pikachu Zekrom into your Raichu. And then, but usually there is a Jirachi active anyway, so you can just use the escape board to retreat that one. So it's a really good card in this deck. Now Nicholas's board just vanished. in an instance. He only has an energy in play, which he can only use to retreat. So he really does need a welder, something to attach energy to, but it doesn't look like he actually has anything.
He's shaking his head.
Yeah, his
I'm
hand is
actually wondering, like, where he lost it.
well, I mean,
He just got overrun by the turn one full blitz, I guess.
well, he had to attach the energy to his active, which is always a little bit of a risk, but also he didn't really have a choice for that. He just started with it, had the welder. Welder was the only welder was a way for him to draw cards, and you can't really like you can expect your opponent to have a turn on full blitz, but of course you can't outplay everything right away. So kind of unfortunate for him. He does go now for a poker gear. He actually hit a bill. So he did have a Mewtwo in his hand, the non-GX Mewtwo, which allows you to reuse a welder. So he could have used that and then play the poker gear to just take the welder from top of his deck. But there is nothing he can attach any energy to. And he does not play Heatran.
He doesn't know.
So usually if you play a Reshiram Charizard deck with welder as well, you can just attach your energy at some point to a random Pokemon, because you usually also have Heatran, GX. You can just move them away. But in this deck, well, you play Psychic Energy and you play a bunch of Mewtwo, so the Heatran isn't that amazing. Doesn't really fit into the deck that good. Since, well, the GX attack, it's almost the same as using a Macargo, but Macargo deals more damage for the same amount of energy. So, well, you have this option, but now, well, he doesn't really have anything in play. But let's see
That's
what
true.
this bill is giving him. I see
No,
a
not
Mysterious
too-
Treasure
oh.
and Welder, so he can at least still be in the game. Both players just knocked out a tag team from each other. So let's see where this is going. I
Yeah,
would
Nick
assume.
really needs to get a setup going now.
Oh, what's that? It's
It's
Acrobat.
Acrobat and Mysterious Treasure.
Oh, so.
That's
Well, I mean, he can't play the welder this turn anyways, and at the end
Yeah.
of his turn, he can still use Mewtwo to get the welder for the top deck's next turn. But I'm not entirely sure what he's digging for right now, that he was inclined to take the Acrobike.
Is
And
he going
also,
to discard the Mewtwo
well, like
now?
the Mewtwo's really weird right now because of the Attack Ball GX. So Pikachu
Yeah.
Zekrom usually plays Custom Catcher, and Yoshia also revealed that already, so Nick knows why my opponent has 3 Custom Catchers somewhere in his deck. So if they just use Attack Bolt with 3 energy, they can just take a Knockout Dedenne and the Mewtwo, and then I lose the game. But this way, just if the Dedenne is now active, well, maybe it gets knocked out next turn, but then your opponents go to down to 1 prize card. If you don't use any non-GX Pokemon from that point.
Yeah, Nick is actually quite happy if Joshua knocks out the Dedenne, because then Nick forces Joshua to play the 8th prize,
Yeah, 8 prize game. It's a weird new term.
So
They just came up with Pokemon Tag Team. Like during the EX and GX era, the 7 prize game was a thing, but now you have the 8 prize game.
Yeah, and 8 is actually a pretty awkward number, because that means it doesn't actually matter to Nick if this Dedenne gets KO'd. He actually wants it to get KO'd.
Yeah,
So
Pokemon GX are the new non-GX. Really funny. But yeah, so this is the reason why he probably wants to avoid using his Mewtwo. And he actually was able to get a Poke Gear. So he hasn't used his GX attack yet. And if he's able to charge some energy, maybe he's even get a Psychic Energy on top of that, he can use Deoxys GX, kind of slowing down Joshua. Once you start attacking with your, Latios GX, once you start attacking with the Latios GX, it gives you a little bit time. And since Nick also plays Custom Catcher,
yeah, Nick's playing Custom Catcher. So it's Joshua's turn currently.
so since Nick also plays Custom Catcher, he can take out a Zero Aura, like he can already damage a Zero Aura on bench, which is usually how you outplay this kind of strategy. Zero Aura and Zapdos to try and get rid of the Mewtwo Mew, or force course, yeah, where was I? Oh, I lost it. Well, what I was going to say is, the Dene gets knocked out, he attacks with Latios, and from then on, well, let's see what happens. But before that can happen, let's see Joshua's turn. Like we said, he hasn't used his GX attack as well. I'm not entirely sure off the top of my head how much damage the GX attack from Raichu Raichu does. I know if you have the extra energy, you can deal more damage. Can you, like, let's see the scan for
let's
Raichu,
confirm.
Raichu,
I'm
Raichu
also
GX.
not entirely sure at the moment.
I know the GX attack, it switches on the bench, and then you have this, if you have more energy, you deal more damage. So it can deal 250 if you have the extra energy. Not enough to take a one-hit knockout on a Pokemon Tech team. Well, on some it is enough, but it's not enough for Mewtwo and Mew. Very powerful Pokemon. Lysander Labs. Lysander Labs also, there was a lot of discussion about it from a lot of players who were like, well, do you want it? Do you need it? Like, is Sylveon Gardevoir that much of a threat? Do you need a lot of matchups? But another interesting thing to note now is Joshua's bench is full, so Latios GX will be able to buy a lot of time for Nicholas, but for that he needs Welder, Energy, and a Psychic Energy.
Yeah, Nick is really thinking now.
Yeah, and Joshua also just looking at his hand, going through the discard pile, and, well, not entirely sure. I'm not entirely sure what he is trying to do now. Like, you can knock out the Dedenne, but you don't really want to.
Yeah, you really don't want to. I mean, it makes sense for Joshua to just power up a little bit and wait until you get your hands on the double custom catcher. But I guess that's not his plan.
Yeah, so here we see GX attack for knockout and also switching into the Jirachi. So that's a very smart play. This way, well, I mean, saving your GX attack for a point where it's more impactful, well, might be relevant, but this way, Nicholas, if he wants to attack with the Latios, he has to knock out the Jirachi, and then Joshua gets his bench space back. He can then use Pikachu Zekrom to charge a Zero Aura, or he can just... Well, the Zero's already on bench. What am I talking about? Yeah, so the Zero's already on the bench, so forgot what I was just going on about bench space. Yeah, but now the important thing is what Nick is being able to do, because the fact that his Stadium got kicked was very crucial, because now he has a Welder in his hand, no energy card. So...
Yeah, it was a smart play for Joshua to kick the Stadium, because the Lysander Lab is not helping anybody here. It's also not disturbing anybody here as well.
Alright, so we see it. Oh, we see Charizard go down. And a custom catcher. What's going on? Come on. Another custom catcher. And a Mewtwo. So his game plan was to not bench the Mewtwo. But it seems like he really needs to. And he puts a Builder on top of his stack.
I mean, he has the Welder already, so...
Well, he does have a Welder. I mean, it would have been too greedy to try and draw into 2 Fire Energy cards. But also, this just delays for a turn. The Jirachi is active now, so if Nick doesn't get any... Like, if he gets any energy card, at least he can use Solgaleo, given that it's in his discard pile, which I'm also not entirely sure about.
I think he discarded it.
No, I think it's there. It's in the bill.
Oh.
So, well, he can't even attack with Solgaleo, which would be a fine play, just like Solgaleo into the Charizard Reshiram. But this way, nah, nothing he can really... Well, okay. He goes for the Giant Hearth. Can't use the Welder, he already played Bill. And his deck, this is the last Fire Energy for him too. But he can attach it from hand. He goes for... What is he searching for now? He doesn't have Solgaleo in his discard pile. This is crucial.
There's another Mew Mew.
So, let's see. Maybe there is something in the discard pile we are forgetting about. Let's see what he's showing us.
Latios. Jirachi.
Oh, maybe he messed up. Maybe there was once because now he can't attack, like right? There's nothing in his discard pile that he can use any attack of. Maybe Makago's GX attack. I don't even remember what.
It's using Makago's GX attack.
Oh,
It's
mills
milling
5.
5 cards.
Oh
so
wait,
now Joshua only has 1 card left.
what?
He's drawing it.
I did not see that
And
one coming.
does he have a Cynthia?
Wait, what? Well, he needs 2 custom catcher, but Nick milled them. Whoa, this is neck. I did not see this coming at all. I completely like.
Me neither.
From here, you can't really see how many deck cards there are left. But yeah, like this is what I was talking about earlier when we featured the Mewtwo Mew deck. Is you have so many options, and if you're just like looking at it from outside, you don't have all of them in your head.
Yeah,
And it
if
looks
you
like-
have never really played the deck,
Wait, it looks like.
it
Well, he
looks
has
like
a Cynthia in his hand, right? So
yeah,
he
he can shuffle back.
But even then, he can't win this turn. And he needs to attach, so he loses that. He will play Cynthia, that gives him 6 cards back.
But
so
I
that's
think he has 7 cards in his
seven,
hand.
7 other remaining cards. So,
Why
but
did he attach the skateboard though?
well, he has to. Well, this. I think if he plays Cynthia, he has 1 deck card. Oh boy.
I mean, he needs to play some Cynthia. Yeah. Oh.
This would have been a crazy play if you're just like, Makago, let's go. Yeah, I remember the Makago being played like as a one-off in like stall Zorak decks who played 1 Ditto and Rainbow Energies just to use it. Yeah, and Joshua's hand.
I mean,
oh boy.
what is he going to do now?
Well, he can attack twice with Pikachu Zekrom.
We see Electric Power being
Well,
played.
Nick can be very sure that Joshua doesn't have any catcher left, so Nick can just retreat
Yeah.
into something else and then wait. Well, but he will get paralyzed now. So he does need a switch, otherwise he'll just lose his next turn. Oh, what's this? He don't take it. Okay, so he draws his. This is a crazy game. Like sometimes you see like a bunch of chaos, and for me personally, Nick's game state is a bunch of chaos, but there is a system there. Like you think like, oh well, stuff happens like this and this, whatever. But there is a system. Like there is a
There's
system to this
actually
madness.
no switch.
But he did not get the switch,
Playing a Cherish Ball.
and he did have it. This really
This
hurts.
hurts. This
And
hurts
that's
so
it. He was so
much.
close.
Oh.
He just needed to switch into the basic. He basically just.
Is there
needed
any
to
way
switch
he can
into
still
the-
draw cards?
He can play Welder, but that would deck him out then.
Yeah, but not
So-
immediately, right? Oh, yeah.
But yeah, okay. So that's it. That would have been so great.
So close.
Yeah,
Oh my
okay.
god. Like
So-
I said at the beginning that the matchup is close, but when I said it's close,
Well, yeah, I don't
meant
think you were actually thinking about that. Don't
I
take
meant
credit for
something
that.
else.
Yeah, so very interesting game.
I didn't see that coming at all. And the last
yeah.
game I was
I always-
casting with Martin, he told me like Mew Mew mirror matches, they usually come down to Makago's GX attack. So I was kind of prepared for that, but I still didn't
was, and
expect
it always
that to
makes me
happen.
so sad when I'm like, well, these are the options, right? But yeah, I should have tested a little bit more Mewtwo and Mew.
But Mew Mew is insane. You have like 20 attacking options.
Well, I mean,
and
that's a bit of a stretch, but yeah, you have
yeah,
a lot
but
of attacking
I mean,
options.
every
and
Pokemon has like 2 attacks.
Yeah,
and
when you play a bunch of Pokemon, but
you
you can't
play
use
like-
all of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're definitely a lot. And now we are seeing the game number 2 of this match. The first one actually took quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean,
more
it
than I
almost went into
expected.
deck. It went into deck out.
Yeah, but I mean, with the Den actually, this happens
You deck
quite
out quite
more
fast.
often.
You
yeah.
play the Dene, you play Welder,
And a lot
you
of
play
people-
super aggressive.
A lot of
that's
people,
true.
like you usually use like 2 or even 3 Den. And then also with the Stadium card, you thin out your deck quite fast. So, well, this is looking familiar. Turn 1 Welder into Mewtwo and Mew. Let's see if this is going better for Nick. Very good for him. His Solgaleo GX is not priced this game. Even though it wasn't priced last game, it was actually it was in his last 3 deck cards that somehow he had 3 Charge Ball in this very last Den, right? Like he didn't draw into any of that stuff earlier, so 2 of the Cherish Ball are in his discard pile again. So let's see. But yeah, maybe it would have been better to play 2 Solgaleo like a lot of other players are doing. But then again, like there are a lot of good attackers in this deck, and you kind of want to have all of them, but you don't want to invest space. So
Yeah, it's always deck building is a tough decision.
yeah, so discarding the Jirachi Jax isn't doing anything in this matchup, gets rid of the psychic weakness for all Pokemon in play. Actually, the Jirachi Jax attack is super weirdly worded, so your Pokemon still have the weakness, just when the attack happens, it's ignored for the calculation. So there are some very complicated rulings for that in the future, I suppose. And Nick's turn looking very strong. He got the other Mewtwo. Cool synergy here. So he actually plays 5 Mewtwo in his deck and 4 Mew as well, because Mewtwo and Mew tag team GX, like a combination of Pokemon. It's a very long word to talk, like, so you usually just say like, oh, Mewtwo GX, but it's Mewtwo and Mew tag
It's
team.
Mew Mew.
They're fighting together.
Or Mew 3.
Yeah, well, it's...
I don't like
nah,
that
nah,
name, but
it's not
people
Mew 3.
use it.
It's Mewtwo, Mew. Mewtwo plus 1. But alright, so now it's Joshua's turn. We see the Tapu Koko Prism Star, a card we are quite familiar with at this point, going for Pokemon Communication. So he will draw a bunch of cards, I think. Well, it really depends on what he draws after the Dedenne, but of course, these decks really want to get the 3 energy or 2 energy and the stadium in play as fast as possible, and they are built to run this way. So it's always quite likely for them, but of course it's not a given. So yeah.
Yeah, we see a communication for Dedenne. Probably going to see a Dede charge soon. But let's see what Joshua's going to do beforehand. We see an Electropower being played. Always the better option to play it than just discard it. And yeah, that's actually a bit awkward because he has 2 custom catcher in hand.
Did he play a single custom
He played
catcher?
a single custom catcher,
Yeah,
only
so
shuffling
he
his deck.
he shuffles because he didn't shuffle earlier. So he
okay.
draws 1 card. But this is actually quite important because you want energy in your discard pile.
Yeah, he's playing, I think, 2 different...
Wait, what did he play?
He's playing 2 different custom catchers.
Wait, did he play 1 for no effect?
Yes.
No, he discarded it with the giant hearth.
Ah,
I was like, what?
Now
but
I
yeah,
understand
okay.
what's going on. Okay.
So because of that, he was able to, like, yeah, do the rest. All right, so we see the we see his new hand. Will he be able to get this going? We see an energy switch, exactly what you need. An energy. There's already 1 in the discard pile. So if he has 2 energy in the discard pile, he can charge up the Pikachu Zekrom already. Just needs a way to retreat or switch. Pretty sure he didn't play a supporter card yet.
And he also hasn't Stellar Wished yet.
Yeah, so a lot of options for him. Let's see which route he is going to take.
Energy first, which makes sense. And then probably the Stellar Wish afterwards.
Oh, does he only have 1 energy in the discard pile, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
so the energy switch unfortunately doesn't really help him too much. There's nothing he could have gotten off the Stellar Wish for him to be able to actually discard lightning energy.
Another
So
Electropower.
Yeah, he's thinking out his deck. He's like, I don't need these. They're like, whatever. I want this.
He might
Turn
be
1
going
tag
for
bolt.
Thunder Mountain now.
Yeah, so
Thunder
he
Mountain
can.
now.
The only way he can attack now is to get a Thunder Mountain and then retreat the Jirachi. Hasn't used Stellar Wish yet. He can just draw into the Thunder Mountain manually or use the Stadium.
I mean, he has pretty good odds. He
Yeah.
plays switches, he plays a skateboard.
Oh, and he did get the Stadium searching item card. I forgot the name. Stadium Nav, I
A
think.
Stadium Nav, yes.
Yeah.
So
Is there white? Yeah, he also has a switch. So yeah, just try
pretty
it.
good.
If he doesn't hit it, he can use Stellar Wish. Oh,
Oh.
well, whatever. Yeah. So here we see another turn 1 tag Bolt.
Oh my god.
And yeah, and then he can use Stellar Wish on a thinner deck. So this is a lot better. Like if he is Stellar Wished first, like just looking like, oh, maybe I get the Thunder Mountain this way. Well, then he would just have a dead Stadium Nav in his hand, which wouldn't really
Yeah,
help
of course.
him.
I
But
mean,
this
Stadium
way,
Nav is dedicated to get stadiums.
yeah, and he actually got double head, so he has a Lysander Lab as well. Lysander Lab is I don't know, it's such a weird card because you really want to have the escape board. Oh, I just realized that escape board is a pun. Oh, I hate myself. Uh, yeah, it's as skateboard, so it sounds like skateboard.
Yeah.
Well, oh, yeah, whatever. So you really want the escape board in play so you can retreat your sleeping Jirachis, but you can't really do that if you have Lysander Lab in play. But this isn't going to happen anytime soon.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, but the turn 1 tech bolt is already set. He should still be afraid of the Latios GX. Nicholas wasn't actually able to use it last game. Last game was a very unorthodox game in general, from what I understand. So maybe this game will turn out a little bit different, but
We'll
yeah,
see.
Joshua should just be sure that he doesn't build himself into a corner if he goes a little bit too aggressive. He can, again, like last game, just go for the Raichu and Raichu. And then he would still have a free bench space he could use for Zapdos just to, yeah, go for a little bit of damage there. He already had to use like the 2 Electro Powers. They are fine actually, since he was actually able to attack, and he goes all in with the Switch and Jirachi, and such a great turn.
Indeed.
Yeah, he has the escape board in his hand. Just
We also know that
thinning
he has
out
the
his
Thunder
deck a
Mountain,
lot.
so
Yeah, I'm just interested if he benches the Zera Aura, or if he just leaves the bench space open. If he benches Zera Aura, he can already attach energy to it, but then this Mewtwo Mew is already charged. So Nick has the option to just use a Welder and then use some GX attack of any Pokemon. We don't know which he will get yet. To take a one-hit knockout, so that's a bit weird to invest in the Zera Aura then, because then...
But again, it's not too bad, because it would force Nick maybe to awkward amounts of prices, so...
Yeah, but let's see. So the full blitz going for 210. Really good number, because this enables the knockout with Zapdos even.
Yeah.
So if the Thunder Mountain stays in play, it gives you even an energy advantage. Well, if it doesn't, then it doesn't really matter. Pretty much every Pokemon, you just would need an energy card. Yeah, so... Well, imagine you get all of your electro power in one turn, just take a one-hit knockout on Mewtwo and Mew. That would be like the worst thing, but this Mewtwo and Mew is here to stay. Nick is able to discard his Latios. Not very impactful right now, contrary to what I just said actually, since I forgot the electric power, so now Zapdos will just take a very easy knockout. So you really want to try and get a good use out of all of your puzzle pieces here.
We see Welder.
A Welder to attach a single energy on the bench.
Yeah.
And the Stadium card. Nick's hand doesn't look too great.
No, but it's great that he found the Stadium card. Only allowing Joshua the Thunder Mountain for one turn.
So he hand attaches active, which means if he can get a Cherish Ball or a Reshiram Charizard, he can use it for 230 damage. 10 shot for the knockout, unfortunately, but at least there's something he can do here. Otherwise, with the Macago, I think, he can deal 250 damage. So if he finds the Macago to put in the discard pile, that would be a very great way to play here. But
and he puts the Solgaleo into the discard pile.
Well, yeah, the Solgaleo is actually pretty fine. Like, no matter which Pokemon you use, if it's not Macago, it's just a 2-hit knockout anyways. And then Solgaleo deals 120, so it's a perfect 2-hit knockout on Pikachu Zekrom anyways. So yeah, let's see where this is going. Oh yeah, he can use Outrage in theory, but actually he got the Macago in the discard pile as well. Yeah, I completely forgot Outrage.
So many options.
Yeah, there's too much. Too much going on here. So, but however, like it didn't matter too much which attack he actually ended up using, as long as he got any attack for the knockout. Found the Macargo, very strong option here. Just to take the knockout. So now he has a Mewtwo and Mew with an energy on the bench already. If he can only hand attach, then he can use Galeo next turn. If he gets Welder, he can use Latios as well. Like Joshua, if he takes the knockout now with Zapdos, then the Zapdos will just get knocked out without attacking into the into the Latios GX. I forgot the name of the attack right here. But let's see what Joshua will actually end up doing here, because
Yeah, Joshua's a bit more under pressure now than in the last game, so definitely more interesting.
yeah, this is turning out to be an actual game. So
Yeah, an actual game, like you would expect the game to happen.
yeah, so electromagnetic radar. Able to search your deck for 2 Lightning Pokemon GX, but he actually discarded 2 Lightning Pokemon GX with it, searching for neither. Since now there is nothing left in his deck. Maybe he was looking for the Dana GX, but he has Symphony in his hand, so probably not too important. And he reveals that he actually plays Hooper, a card I didn't know he plays in his deck, which is also very good in this matchup, since pretty much every Pokemon on Nick's board has an ability, so he can use it for very easy knockout now, and he can also later use it to outplay Latios. So now you can see Joshua's list very strong against the Latios attack. So for Nicholas, it's just his deck is basically a Reshiram Charizard with more options, because he basically just have to take big knockouts. But yeah, Mewtwo and Mew, bunch of HP, really difficult to navigate around.
And we see a reset stamp.
Reset stamp, also not really what Nick wanted to see, I suppose.
Probably not, but also
well,
not too
he needs an energy and something to attach the energy to.
And he has the Giant Hearth, so he will get the energy.
Yeah, but Hooper actually really strong in this scenario because it has 130 HP and also resistance. So if you use Solgaleo's attack, you only do 100 damage. And then it can poke again. So in the current board state, that would be at least 70 damage, given that Nicholas discards his Marshadow and doesn't bench anything else. But he probably has to bench something. So really weird situation. The Hooper is putting in a lot of work right now. Such an amazing card. It can happen in a lot of matchups. So of course, all the Jirachi decks will have some Jirachi lying around somewhere. Then the Malama deck, of course, everything in there. Basically everything in there has an ability. So you can use Evil Admonition to take a lot of easy knockouts and a lot of matchups. And in this matchup especially, you can outplay the single, like the Solgaleo attack, because it's not able to take a knockout on it. So we see Nick going for a Welder, using Hearth to search his deck for 2 Fire Energy cards. Looks like actually his last 2 Fire Energy. I'm not entirely sure how many there are already gone. There
might be
at least 4 in the discard pile, and then 3 in play, and 1 in the prize card, so that's 8.
Nick's playing 10 and 3 Psychic.
There should be 2 Fire Energies somewhere. There's 1 in his hand as well, so and maybe there's even 1 in the discard pile I didn't catch, or maybe there's even 1 in the deck left. So what's going
there are
on
a lot
with
of
the Fire
options,
Energy
but we're seeing a Welder now.
Yeah, so going for the Welder, very nice here. If he can find himself another attacker to take a knockout on Hooper, he can still have an answer. He plays Custom Catcher, so if he just takes out the Hooper, then he can take a knockout on Bench Zero or the Didena. Didena, of course, a little bit easier to knock out. Nick still has his GX attack, so he's still got a bunch of options to win this game.
Yeah, there's still 1 Fire Energy in his deck and 2 Psychic Energies.
Oh,
or even 3 if I'm counting correctly.
Yeah, so that's fine. Let's see what he is eyeing up with this Cherish
Yeah,
Ball.
it looks like 3 Psychic Energies. So Nick should really be fine.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what's going to happen now. For 3 energy cards, I know you can take the knockout with Macargo. if you discard 2 energy, you deal 150. That's with the
Yeah.
resistance exactly 130. But you lose energy cards, so if you attach once, he already played Welder, so you can
Yeah,
attach
there
once
there
more.
must be another option
Um,
to make 150 damage. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you can if you have the 4th energy, you can use the Tag Team GX for Reshiram Charizard, which deals 230. That should be enough even with resistance. And he discards the Welder off that Idana, really painful.
Well, it
But
makes sense because he has not a lot of fire energies anyways, and he also draws into another welder because he hasn't played a lot of them. So
alright, let's see. He does have Charge Ball in his hand, so if he wants to, he can go for the Reshiram Charizard, take the knockout here, and then in theory, he can attach 2 energy as well, like 2 additional energy, one with Welder, one from hand, to have 6 energy, and then use the GX attack from the Reshiram Charizard on top of that. But of course, Yoshia still has answers to this, but let's see what Nick is going for. Here we
Nick's
see
shaking
the
his hand. I think it's because he knew he drew into the Dedenne. He now needs to get the Reshiram Charizard and play another Didicharge, which is a bit unfortunate because he's losing a lot of hand cards, but he needs that Reshiram Charizard in the desktop pile, of course.
Well, he doesn't need it in this play. You can also just bench it.
Oh yeah, true.
Which is like a bit weird that there is a basic Pokemon so strong that you want to copy something from. But this is the game we're playing now. Basic Pokemon is where it's at currently in this format. And yeah, he does use the Flare, I think it's called Flare Strike, 230 damage. You can't use this attack next turn as well. But Nick has the option to use the GX attack. And he's getting starved. This is painful. So Yoshua playing Reset Stamp, 2 Reset Stamp now in a row for very good effect. Nick still, I was just going to say, well, he has some outs, he still has Cherish Balls, but his last Cherish Ball are priced.
Yeah.
So yeah, for him to get his last Dedenne GX, it's quite unlikely.
But
I would
he
say,
hasn't, like, there are not a lot of cards left in his deck, right?
Oh,
There's
he
a
does have
mysterious
fire
treasure
energy.
and a fire energy.
But I would assume, because so their reset stamp just came down, I would assume this Mewtwo and Mew to get paralyzed. And then there's a clock on it, so Joshua basically has check. Check? Is it called check or chess?
It's called check.
Yeah, so he has
Because-
check, but
yeah.
not checkmate yet. Nick can draw into a switch, but then what do you switch into? Like, just putting a Dedenne active won't win him the game. Joshua hasn't used his GX attack, so he can take easy one-hit knockout. I think he should still have 2 Electro Power left as well, so he just needs Electro Power to take the knockout. If he gets an energy down now, on the Zeraora, an energy switch, retreat, just attack. If the Dedenne is active, would be fine. Well, then if you get the switch, what else can you promote? Well, the Mewtwo is actually something you can sacrifice. Well, wait, I just like he has three prize cards left, so sacrificing a Dedenne would actually work. But yeah, Joshua, I'm not entirely sure how many custom catcher are in his discard pile. He just searched for one.
At the beginning of the game, he needed to like play.
Yeah, he discarded
he
2,
discarded
right?
2.
So, okay. So he has
So-
exactly 2 left.
I think so.
Yeah, so if you can just paralyze now, the next turn double catcher, take the knockout.
Yeah, and we see
let's
him
see.
retreat into Pikachu, Alolan, Raichu, Tag Team GX.
Yeah, that's a long name.
It is.
Let's just call it Raichu Raichu.
But it's Pikachu. No, it's Raichu, Alolan, Raichu, right?
It's Raichu and a Roland Raichu. And
Yeah,
then
okay.
Pikachu with Zekrom.
Okay.
They're the whole family meeting with the cousin from another continent. Yeah, so Tandem Shock. Right now dealing 160 damage and paralyzing Mewtwo and Mew GX. Putting Nick in a
He's
really...
using the
oh,
GX
he's
attack.
using Lightning, right. So that's 150 damage. He doesn't have enough energy for the extra effect, I think.
That's true.
He
Yeah.
does need 5 for the full effect. Yeah, so he does 150, puts Jirachi active.
It
But
makes
I
sense.
Because
I think
you have
I think either way it's actually fine.
Once
Like he could
again,
have
that
used,
is
I think he could have
time
used
around
Tandem
the
Shock,
Trading Card Game Masters.
but this way he forces Nick to have like a double custom catcher. And
Yeah.
after the reset stamp, that's quite unlikely,
We
but
see Bill.
he almost got it.
Ooh.
Well, he already played Welder, so he had one custom
True,
catcher. If he
true,
got
true,
the
true,
other
true,
custom
true.
catcher, he could have then just outraged the Dana on Joshua's bench to win the game.
Ooh.
So close. The next card would have been the second custom
That
catcher for him to
hurts so
seal this
much.
game and also punish Joshua not using Tandem Shock. Well, but Joshua, he doesn't really know the list from Nick, and if he uses Tandem Shock, it's 160 damage. Nick can just get it. Well, he would need a switch and a double custom catcher to win the game here.
For
So
all
I.
players who had
That's
a
actually a
deck
lot
deck
to
But
ask
also,
your
he
games
would have
here
been
at
able
the
to use
stage, your decks
5
are
energy
ready.
and then a GX attack. So
Once
a
again,
lot of
you
stuff
reach
going on here. Not
19
entirely sure what the
points.
correct line of
You
playing
made
would
it
have
into day 2.
been.
Congratulations for that. We will
No matter what,
need you back
this is not looking
tomorrow
very good for
at
Nick now.
8:45 in the
Definitely
review.
not.
And if you had a deck check,
He's-
you can now pick up your decks.
But this
here
was
at the
very,
stage.
like, these are interesting games. Like, everyone always has a bunch of options. Nick not really drawing too well.
Yeah, he's deciding to go for the Espion, the Oxys tag team, placing it on the bench.
Yeah, he already, wait, he touched the Fire Energy on the bench with Welder, I think?
Yeah.
But, yeah, so if he gets a Psychic Energy now, he can use...
Oh, we see a single custom catcher. Yeah.
He does have a Psychic Energy, so I
I
think...
mean, his odds for psychic energies were pretty good.
Divide, he can knock out... it's only 100, right? So he...
Mm-hmm.
Wait, how many extra energy... Wait, if he would have Welder to the active, would he have 1? How many? No. I think Nick just realized that too. He would have been able to knock out the 2 Jirachi or the Didana. This is...
That is so painful to watch.
And also there's timeout now.
Yeah, it's almost time.
This is... So he can use Latios. But then, wait, how much damage does he have? He has 150. Yeah, so he does use Latios for the knockout here. So Joshua needs to take the knockout. But he can't use tag team for the knockout? Wait, what? That's a... Wait, what? Well, he can use the Energy X, but that's not enough damage, I guess. He has 150 damage, which means he has how much HP left? Math is very hard. He has 120 HP. He got 2.
Oh,
Wait,
double
what?
electric power. That's plus 60. Zapdos.
So he plays a single counter catcher for 1. And he got the
Oh.
energy switch, so he can use Zera Aura for the knockout.
I guess another single custom catcher. I mean,
he doesn't have the switch yet, so he still needs to retreat the
Oh
Jirachi.
boy.
He got it.
Oh my god. And there's the switch as
Boo.
well.
But yeah, so
Switching to Zera Aura,
That-
energy switch.
that was a back and forth I did
Oh
not
my
expect. Yeah, so like all the viewers at home probably heard, my line of thinking was very different from what the
Yeah.
player actually approached. And for the 3rd time today, I just forgot that Deoxys tag team exists. I was like, well, I think Nick, I don't know if Nick forgot that it exists or if he just didn't realize, but I'm always like, oh, these and that are the options, and then they're like, Deoxys Jirachi. I'm like, oh yeah, that exists. This is awesome.
Yeah,
as
I
well.
always feel the same. Like
Uh,
especially with this Mewtwo deck.
Yeah.
If the attackers are hit in the discard pile, you keep forgetting about them. Like
yeah.
of course, the back of your mind knows they are there.
Yeah.
But,
All right. So note for next time: test more Mewtwo and Mew. Yeah. So I think we can have Joshua
yeah,
here
we can
for
have
a
a short winners interview.
The time
Before we
when-
go to a break, quick shout out to our sponsors, Ultra Pro Card Market and Yokmok. Without them, this stream wouldn't have been possible. Also, big thank you and a heart for all of our patrons out there and our 2 subscribers we have already. So
Yeah. And
if you
let's-
want to subscribe the channel.
And let's not forget our Canine Lab. The
Of
very
course,
first time I
yeah.
think we used it at a regional championship. in Europe we had the online deck list, and their
We had the
functionality
stream
really
tool.
helped us out. They have a special stream tool, which
Yeah, that
we
was
don't want to talk
really
too much
awesome to
about, but it
use,
was
but
very amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll cut to a very short break, and then we'll give you an interview with Joshua, so stay tuned. Yeah, hello everyone. I'm back here with Joshua. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
These were some very, very interesting games. So you didn't hear what we were talking about,
No.
but like the very first game, did you see the Macago coming?
Oh, not at all. No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So I feel better about myself as well.
No, I was terrified when he started looking for his scar pile and he saw that started eyeing up the Macago. No, not cool, not cool.
Yeah, but you were still able to maneuver around that.
Yeah, that Cynthia was a saving grace.
Yeah, like playing Cynthia, but then having 7 additional other cards as well.
Yeah.
Did you have like a communication left as well, or was it just Cynthia or nothing else?
I can't remember, to be
Oh,
honest,
fair
but
enough.
yeah,
All right.
Cynthia was all I saw at the moment.
Yeah. So the second game, the very last turn, I was thinking when you use the GX attack with Raichu and Raichu,
Yeah.
I thought, well, he could use Tandem Shock and then force the opponent to need a switch. Was there like what was the thought process? Like, why did you go for the GX attack?
Well, because I think he had 2 prize cards remaining at that time,
Yes.
and I thought, you know, if I wanted to tandem shock originally, but I noticed he hadn't used any switches yet, so I was quite worried about that. So I thought, you know, he could just switch, attach to a Detene, and then just come and lava flow the Macago attack again,
yeah,
do that again for knockout. But I thought, you know, putting up the Draichi, then he has to have custom catches at least to make it a bit more difficult.
Yeah. And then what I realized at the very beginning, he could have welded for the Fire Energy active and then use the GX attack from Deoxys, right?
Yeah.
Like, but that was something
don't think he had
I
enough,
always forget
yeah.
the Deoxys.
I'm not sure there was enough damage on board though, but I could be
fair
wrong.
enough,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you could do 200.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
just in general, why did you go for Pikachu Electro? Like, is it just your favorite deck or something you feel very comfortable with?
Well, yeah, it's all I played probably since I've started playing, like last year, since it came out. It's good fun, and it's all I can afford. And yeah, but no, yeah, I think it's like the results for it are always decent. Maybe people put it down a little bit, but I think kind of has an even matchup against most things, and yeah, I really enjoy it.
Was there something you were afraid of playing against today?
Gardevoir and Sylveon for sure.
Yeah, I
had
see
the,
you play Lysander Labs,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So, but like even that can still be sketchy. You know, they play like 4 power plant. Like they get that all down. I'm screwed. But no, I played against one Gardevoir and Sylveon today. Managed to get through it with a win. But yeah.
All right. Anyone you want to shout out? Someone who tested with you? Want to thank?
My girlfriend Charlie. Hello, and my brother Matt. Thank you.
All right. So you will playing tomorrow, right now. So day 2. I hope everyone who viewed today enjoyed it. I'm very thankful. We want to apologize for everything that went wrong today, but also looking forward to making it better tomorrow. We are planning to have round 1, day 2, start at about 9 a.m. German time. So check that out, and then don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow us to get notified. I was just thinking, like, no, subscribe is the thing where you pay, and then YouTube it's like to follow. So don't forget to follow us to get notified, and then tomorrow we will have the creme de la creme here in Cologne. So see you, and thank you for watching.